It has been a minute since iNeo has released a mainline PC handheld. The closest thing we've gotten recently is the iNeo Kun, which uses the most up-to-date AMD processors, at least in terms of their APU technology. And I'll be honest, I haven't been really wanting a new thing from iNeo, mainly because they're consistently one of the most expensive options out there. You can get an iNeo Kun for pretty much $1,000, not counting tax and shipping, and it performs pretty much exactly the same as a Z1 Extreme processor found in an Ally or the Ally X in the Legion Go, which are infinitely easier to get your hands on and significantly cheaper. The main difference between the Z1 Extreme and the 8840 you found in all these other PC handhelds is that it has some AI nonsense bolted onto it, which isn't even good enough for Windows 11 AI features. So it frankly is kind of pointless, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is the performance. And with the announcement of the iNeo 3, I decided it'd be one of my favorite things to do to speculate on what to expect out of this. What are my predictions? What do I want out of an iNeo 3? So let's just jump right into this with some of my predictions. I will honestly believe it will come with an OLED display, similar to the one found inside of the iNeo Pocket Evo. That has a 1080p 165Hz OLED display, and honestly, I see no reason why they couldn't use that same exact screen in the next iNeo device. To me, being able to reuse parts on multiple devices throughout, a product stack makes the most sense. And considering this device is going to be around at least $850 to $8,000, I want the best screen tech we can get in there, and that would be from the iNeo Pocket Evo, that 165Hz 1080p OLED. Unlike on the Evo, you actually might be able to put to use the 165Hz refresh rate. Granted, that list of games where you could probably hit that refresh rate is probably pretty low and limited to very old PC games, or Minecraft, Terraria, and that kind of stuff, but at least you have a pretty lengthy list of games that you should be able to hit that level of refresh rate on, assuming it uses the new Strix Point AMD APUs. My next prediction is that it's going to be using the new AMD Ryzen AI 300 chipsets. With the transition to these new Ryzen AI chips, we get to use the all-new integrated graphics, the AMD Radeon 880M and 890M. The 890M is significantly more powerful, and it is frankly insane how powerful this new chipset is. And it's capable of producing frame rates in excess of like 90 FPS in a bunch of AAA titles. Of course, that is like medium to low settings, but this graphics chip competes with like desktop graphics cards from not too long ago. My favorite statistic to mention is that technically it outperforms an old NVIDIA GTX Titan. Granted, that is almost a 10-year-old graphics card, but it's just kind of fun to say that the integrated graphics on this processor outperforms a full-blown GTX Titan class graphics card. But like I said, that is like an almost 10-year-old graphics card, so it should outperform it. But just the idea of that we've gotten from these giant behemoth, almost $1,000 graphics card being outperformed in just 10 years by what's integrated on a processor. To me, that is simply amazing. Other things I expect out of the next iNeo device is a new design. I love the current design, but I feel like it's lacking in a few places. Ergonomics could be a little bit better, but something I truly think it needs is that the iNeo Kun did fix is have integrated touchpads, similar to the Steam Deck. I can't begin to list all the times the touchpads on the Steam Deck have been so helpful. Especially since I run Windows on my Steam Deck, the touchpads are invaluable. Sometimes the touchscreen just isn't the best input method, and just having access to an instant mouse without having to do some sort of joystick to mouse configuration is really, really nice. And that is something sorely missing on the current iNeo 2. Once again, something the Aeneo Kun did was have a massive 75 watt-hour battery, but with how much battery technology has changed since the original release of the Kun even, I honestly expect to at least have an 80 watt-hour battery with about a 7-inch screen. Considering Asus was able to do that with the Ally X, I have plenty of reason to think that Aeneo can do that with the next Aeneo 3. I'm not saying it has to be the 80 watt-hours that battery is, but I would like to see at least like 75, 60 at the bare minimum for this next generation device. I'm going to be loosely quoting something from their blog post when this first went live, and they're basically saying that this isn't just the next software and hardware innovation, but it also is the next evolution in thinking. The Aeneo 3 isn't just about surpassing and innovating, it aims to change the way we interact with games. Imagine being able to experience an unprecedented level of immersion anytime, anywhere, on a single device. It is unrestricted and uncompromising, free control experience. And, well, for me, that means it has to have pretty darn good battery life to be an unrestricted and uncompromising free control experience. The rest of the quote goes on to say, the Aeneo 3 is not just a simple upgrade, but a reconstruction. It tells us that handheld devices are not just portable devices, they can become your portable gaming universe, which sounds a bit, just PR talking and just utter nonsense. But it sounds like this isn't just going to be a simple upgrade like the Aeneo 2S was. And frankly, I feel like a lot of things I've talked about wanting on the next generation device seem actually fairly practical and logical when you're thinking of a complete next step. I would love to see it come down in price, but honestly, I don't necessarily expect that to be the case. Asus, Lenovo, and Valve pretty much have that more value-orientated PC handheld market pretty much locked down, and Aeneo does have some more value-orientated stuff like the Aeneo Next, and I've talked about how much I really don't like that device. So without compromising on performance, I realistically do not see a world where Aeneo can make a device for less than $800 with top-of-the-line performance. Beyond that, I truly believe that they would have to make some pretty large sacrifices when it comes to performance, build quality, and across the board, it will be a worse device because of that. And that's really disappointing, because at their scale, I do understand that it's not necessarily practical for them to sell their devices cheaper. They can't. They do not sell the amount of volume that Lenovo and Asus can. Asus and Lenovo and Valve can sell their devices at a loss just so people can buy their devices, because they have an entire giant mega corporation buying them doing so many other things to generate money. Aeneo pretty much only makes these handhelds, and if they can't make money on them, they don't make money at all. So I always had an understanding of why they were so expensive, and I do wish they can come down at some point, but honestly, just doesn't seem all that practical. But I am really excited for the Aeneo 3. It has an immense amount of potential, and I hope some of the things I predict here do in fact come true. I would love to hear what you guys think. What do you want out of an Aeneo 3? Do you want similar things I do, or is there something that I'm not really getting? I would love to hear what you guys and your guys' predictions down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All the other social media coverage down below. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.